The date is April 8th, 1994. An electrician arrives at a home in a wealthy Seattle neighborhood. It's a routine job.
Just installing a security system.
He peers through the window of a greenhouse above a garage, and he sees a figure on the floor. At first, he thinks it's just someone sleeping.
But then he sees it. The shotgun. The blood.
The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. But 30 years later, a new report says everything we were told about that day is a lie. Welcome to StarScope Report.
It's great to be here.
We're your hosts, Jordan and Jamie, and on this show we uncover the Hollywood drama, the music industry shakeups, and the viral scandals that get everyone talking.
And today's deep dive, well, it's a big one. We're looking at an explosive new forensic paper just released that challenges the official suicide ruling of Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain.
So let's start with the headline, because as of this week, February 11, 2026, a team of forensic experts has published a peer-reviewed paper.
Right, and this is in the International Journal of Forensic Sciences. It's not some blog post. This is serious science.
And the lead researchers, forensic specialist Brian Burnett, and an independent researcher named Michelle Wilkins, they're not mincing words.
Not at all. Burnett's quote, which is all over the Grand Pinnacle Tribune, is just, "This is a homicide."
A homicide, after 30 years of being told it was a suicide.
And their core thesis is that the body was moved from the actual site of death and staged to look like a suicide.
Okay, we have to put this in context. The official story from 1994 from the King County Medical Examiner was suicide by an intraoral shotgun blast.
Meaning inside the mouth. They estimated he died around April 5th, and the Seattle Police Department has always maintained it's a closed case.
They even reviewed it again in 2014. Detective Mike Ciesinski looked at the cold case files and said, nope, still a suicide.
Exactly. So for a peer-reviewed scientific paper to come out and directly challenge a 30-year-old police ruling, that's a huge deal.
The word staged is what gets me, a clean scene. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you stage a suicide when the weapon is a shotgun?
Well, the answer, they say, lies in the toxicology report, and a detail about his liver that really shouldn't exist.
Okay, let's get into that. The toxicology, the heroin. It's always been part of the story that he had a lethal dose in his system.
Right. The official report found 1.52 milligrams per liter of morphine in his blood.
And for those of us who aren't forensic scientists, break that down for me. Is that a lot?
It's a lights-out amount. A massive lethal dose. The classic argument from the police has always been about tolerance.
Yeah, that he was an addict, so his body could handle what would kill a normal person 3 times over.
To a point. But this new paper argues that tolerance has a biological ceiling. Wilkins argues that a dose that high would induce immediate unconsciousness, a coma.
Immediate? Like how fast are we talking?
Possibly less than a minute, maybe just seconds. They call it the incapacitation argument.
So he's in a coma in under a minute. He can't really do much of anything else.
Precisely. And this is where the scene makes no sense. His drug paraphernalia, the kit, it was found neatly packed away in a cigar box.
Wait, what?
The syringe was put away, the spoon was put away, and the box was closed.
So the official theory is he injects a dose that should knock him out instantly.
Uh-huh.
But before that happens, he takes the time to neatly pack up his kit, put it all away, and then pick up a shotgun and operate it.
That's the physical impossibility they're pointing to. It just doesn't track with how overdoses happen. Usually the needle is still in the arm or the person is collapsed right there.
You don't find a tidy scene.
You find chaos. The researchers argue the motor skills required to do all that packing up are complex, and doing it while your central nervous system is shutting down, they say it's medically impossible.
That is just... it's a chilling detail. But there's more, right? You mentioned his liver. What does his liver have to do with any of this?
This might be the real smoking gun. The original autopsy noted necrosis in his brain and liver.
Necrosis, that's when tissue dies, right?
It's the death of tissue, yes. But here's the crucial thing. Necrosis is a process. It happens during a slow hypoxic death, like from oxygen deprivation during an overdose. It does not happen in an instant shotgun death.
I'm not sure I follow. If you're dead, your tissue is dead.
Think of it like a bruise. If your heart is pumping, blood flows to an injury and it bruises. If your heart stops instantly, that process doesn't happen. With a shotgun blast to the head, death is instantaneous. The heart stops. There's no time for necrosis to set in.
So the fact that the autopsy found necrosis...
It suggests he was dying slowly of an overdose before the gun was ever fired.
Wow.
He was likely in a coma, his body shutting down, organs being starved of oxygen for a significant period of time, and then the shot happened.
A man in a coma can't pull the trigger on a shotgun.
Exactly. Which brings us back to the scene being clean.
Right. Wilkins said the scene was very clean. I mean, again, it's a shotgun.
It is, but beyond that, it's the other details. The shotgun shells were found neatly lined up at his feet.
Lined up, not just scattered.
Lined up, like, as she put it, someone staged a movie. And then there's the receipt.
I've heard about this.
The receipt for the shotgun shells was found in his pocket.
It's just so bizarre. Why would someone about to end their life carefully arrange the ammo and make sure they keep the receipt? It feels performative.
It feels staged. If you're loving these Hollywood twists and want to hear more stories like this, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier deep dives ahead.
So we've talked about the drugs, the liver, the scene, but we haven't even gotten to the weapon itself. And you won't believe why experts say it was physically impossible for him to pull the trigger.
Yeah, the gun itself is a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
It was a Remington Model 11 20-gauge shotgun.
Okay, a standard chest.
Mostly, but it was fitted with something called a cuts compensator on the muzzle.
What's that?
It's a device to reduce recoil, but the important part is that it adds length to the barrel.
Yeah.
A few inches.
And a few inches makes that much of a difference.
It does when you're talking about arm reach. The researchers did the math. The gun, with the compensator, was too long for Cobain to reach the trigger if the barrel was positioned in his mouth.
But people use their toes or a stick or something, right?
His shoes were on, laced up, so the toe theory is out. And there was no stick, no tool of any kind found at the scene.
So, how did the police explain it?
Well, here's the thing. They used a test shotgun back in 1994 to prove it was possible. But the new report claims the test gun didn't have the cuts compensator on it.
You're kidding me.
They tested a shorter gun. They were testing a different scenario from what was actually there.
That's a massive oversight.
And then there's the ejection pattern of the shell. A Remington 11 is semi-automatic, so it kicks the spent shell out to the right.
Okay.
Given where the body was, the shell should have landed to his right. But it was found on his left.
How does that happen?
The report says it can't, unless the gun was held upside down or by a second person standing over him.
So let's just lay out the homicide scenario this report is proposing. It's really dark.
It's incredibly dark. They theorize Cobain was assaulted, injected with a massive dose of heroin, and incapacitated. Then, while he was lying there in a coma, the killers staged the scene and fired the gun.
Turning a tragedy into a cold-blooded execution.
A cleanup operation.
So with all of this new scientific analysis, you'd think the authorities would at least reopen the case, right?
You would think so, but they are not budging. The Seattle Police Department put out a statement to Key RO7 almost immediately.
Oh, what did it say?
It's a suicide. This is a closed case. The King County Medical Examiner's Office said the same thing. They've seen nothing to warrant reopening it.
It feels like institutional inertia. Admitting they were wrong after 30 years would be a PR nightmare.
Absolutely. But to be balanced, there is one piece of evidence that still points strongly to suicide.
A note.
The suicide note. For years, people have claimed the bottom part was forged. But a forensic linguist, Karol Chasky, used software called Snare to analyze it. And it concluded the note was written by one person and that it does fit the profile of a genuine suicide note.
So we have the body saying homicide and the note saying suicide. That's a direct conflict.
It is. The researchers suggest maybe the note was written earlier, maybe as a dark journal entry about leaving the music business, not about leaving life. We just don't know.
Which brings us to the human element here. His family, his daughter, has had to live with this for 3 decades. They fought to keep the graphic crime scene photos from being released.
And can you blame them? Dealing with obsessive fans, with stalkers. It's a tragedy that just keeps being relived.
We've seen documentaries like Soaked in Bleach and private investigator Tom Grant pushing the murder theory for years. But this is different. This isn't speculation. It's forensics.
It's a scientific challenge to the official story.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next.
So at the end of the day, we're left with this huge conflict. Peer-reviewed science claiming it was a staged homicide.
And police authorities standing firm on a 30-year-old suicide ruling.
The question is this a case of a staged crime scene that fooled the world for decades?
Or is it simply the tragic end of a tortured artist that fans just refuse to accept?
The image I can't shake is the receipt in his pocket. In a world of chaos and grunge and the supposed final desperate act, why was that one piece of evidence so neat, so mundane?
Is the truth hidden in the mess, or was the mess just cleaned up before anyone got there to see it?
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.